Hello and welcome to the Atlas Island Podcast. I am John Carter. Today we have Wulf in the Midnight Howl. And we have 5 gentlemen here. Please introduce yourselves.
Sure did.
Oh, hi, I'm Dev.
Good call.
Hi. I'm Dev Wulf.
I'm Chili Willy. Matthew Vasquez.
I am Joshua Seca.
Kyle Garrison.
All right. By the way, just thank you guys for coming on this. This is awesome. Y'all are our first guests, musical guests. So I didn't tell you that. I wanted that to be a surprise. I don't know how you feel about that, but we are honored to have you guys here.
Quite
Seriously.
happy to be here.
All right. So before we get into like the history of the band, I do want to talk about the music video that's coming out the 19th of May, not June, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and for Doghouse, and I just saw the edit, and it is super fun, guys. I was there. It was a really, really fun night, and a lot of energy. If you guys want to have a fun time, go to a Wulf in the Midnight Howl show. There was how many people were dancing there? There was probably like 100 people cramped in that studio space,
easily,
right?
yeah.
I think we hit 120 was the
120.
the final
oh my
count.
gosh. Yeah, and whose space was that?
The space is owned by a friend of mine, Michael Shellis. He's an artist here in Dallas, and he does his style of painting is very much a mixed medium of acrylic meets like graffiti style art meets a few other things, and whatever he can get his hands on, he can turn into art. He'll do it. So he was so gracious to give us a space, his studio space actually, to record the whole video and put on an entire event. So. Y'all should look him up, at Michael Shellis on Instagram.
Talk about Will too, like give him a
Oh
shout.
yeah. And Will von Bolton was the man, and Rush Urschel, the third, were the men behind the cameras, and Will was the captain of the helm, and it was so gracious to be a part of this team and help us capture the magic. He's got an amazing eye.
It's killer.
He's also on Instagram, Will von Bolton. And we can't wait to share it with the rest of the world.
Awesome. Seriously. I know Ben's not here, but he's here in spirit. But
He's alive.
Is he? Is he though?
Oh, we don't know. We're not quite sure at the moment.
Oh, we missed
probably
him.
should have prefaced that. Yeah,
We
Ben
miss
is
him.
definitely alive as of the recording
Ben-
of this podcast.
Ben Fisher.
Nothing to be concerned about.
To get that full name out of Austin Bennett Fisher. It's our
A.B. Fisher.
that's our guy. Yeah.
He's going to hate all of that.
And this
So excited.
and if anything
not
happens
here.
to Ben, this is all of our alibis.
We love you, bro.
Awesome. So first off, other than the music video, I wanted to get that out of the way, but I wanted to talk specifically, Dev, this is like your 3rd or 4th project. Is that correct? Because I believe you had a solo project before, and then you did Texarkana.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up. You had a rebrand for your solo project,
Did.
and now you have the Midnight Howl.
And now
So
the Midnight Howl.
can you decide on anything?
No. No. It's funny. I'm so glad you, what is this guy trying to do? I'm just trying to be me. You throw a whole bunch of, can I say shit?
Yeah, we're 2 minutes in. Right? You're good.
He's cursing
Our producer gave permission.
Fuck yeah.
Wait,
So,
It's about to get wild.
it's one of those,
Here it comes.
every other word. Sorry, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. So, I don't know. It's funny. My projects have always been kind of like throwing shit at a wall and hoping something sticks. I can't, when I started, there's a whole musical journey that kind of took place as to ever trying to find my voice and evolve as a musician. And Texarkana, was kind of the first project that really started to, have some success versus kind of my solo stuff. And there's a whole reason behind that I don't need to get into today. That'll be saved for another podcast that's a lot heavier and whatnot. But I will say that it started with Texarkana truly, and then I did the rebrand, and that's kind of so Dev Wulf is it used to be MD Wolf. That's gone now. So now it's just Dev Wolf. And yeah. Anyway, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. But yeah, you just throw shit at the wall, hope something sticks, and
Well,
this is happening. And
I feel like that's a good segue into like how did this, because I didn't even know you as when I ran into you, I knew you by an entirely different name. And
yeah, my government name.
Your
No,
government
I'm
name.
just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, that is partially true. Yeah, it's funny. So Chili and I first met. We were church kids, and we first met at this. Another artist was throwing an album release and had a full band. He came on in. You played banjo and maybe guitar and something else.
I played banjo on like 2 tracks.
like
Who
2
was the
tracks.
artist?
Her name was Laura Allen. She's not active these days as a musician. Well, in terms of playing shows and stuff like that. But amazing human being, a great songwriter for killer voice. But that was the first time we met, and it was on stage, and it was the last time we saw each other till 15 years later. I'm playing a gig at Adair's down in Deep Elm. I walk out, it was a dead night, walking out to see this foot traffic. I look to my right to the neighboring bar, the Freeman, and there this motherfucker was sitting there, exactly how you see him, and minus the hat.
Those exact clothes.
Yeah, those exact clothes, bro.
Not much.
Spawned there, bro.
And it was just kind of like, it was like that Spider-Man meme where you just pointed to each other. Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
I wasn't even like facing you, and I just heard Will, and I turned around and I was like, Devin? The rest is history.
And I was like, I'm playing a gig. Let me grab my guitar. And then we've been playing every gig together since, essentially. And then, then Matt and Josh and Unc. Well, Unc came first and sat in with us. And really, we just started.
Well, and Unc and Ben as well.
Oh, which by the way, we call him Uncle Henry. So we refer to him as Unc, even though he introduced himself as Kyle Garrison, which is also accurate.
But that
Either one.
For documentation.
were government names.
Alibis. Anyway,
Wait, so
someone take the side
that
from me.
first
It was
night-
on a Tuesday at 9:15 p.m.
Dude, honestly,
Honestly?
it was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
Because
I am making this up. Are you serious?
No,
Yeah.
that's serious. Because I was playing the open mic at Freeman. It was a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and literally that night we were playing together. I literally just was like, "Hey man, can I join you for the rest of your set?" And he was like, "Do you have your rig?" And I laughed at him, and he was like, "I haven't seen you for 15 years. How am I supposed to know?" Like, yeah, good point. And we got up there and actually had a harmonica player join us, Brendan.
Was it an older, like, fit dude who's like Italian or something?
No, he's
You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
guy around.
No, there's a guy at the Freeman who used to come. I used to go to the Sunday Jazz Jam and Blues Jam when Stephen Kettner did the jam. So there was a harmonica player who always, like, he was I guess he was a lineman or something, like a cable lineman who climbs telephone poles, and he always had like 10 harmonicas ready
Those
to go.
two things
at
go
all
together.
times. So I'm just wondering if it's the same guy.
association,
So yeah.
A strap going across his shoulder,
with like
and then there are several harmonicas, and he's pulling them out.
shotgun shells.
Like the
what
guy
do
from
you
Blues
think?
Traveler, is it John Popper? Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember Brendan's last name. He's a killer harmonica player. He plays
cool.
with Wayside Motel.
Wayside Motel, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
With his brother. I mean, absolutely killer harmonica player.
Really good.
And he got up there and played with us, and we both were just like, okay, this is a thing. Like, this is cool.
That dude shows up out of nowhere. He's what key, and then just goes.
He didn't even ask. He didn't even ask. He just went.
Those are always the best dudes.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
you're so mad at them for being so good because you're just like, I practiced for years for this. You just show up and out of nowhere and just come in. Cool. Sweet, man. I hate
Plus,
you.
how many guys our age or younger even like are as committed to harmonica these days? You know,
Valid point.
I have such a respect for
and blues
for
harmonica
Yeah,
specifically.
you too.
He's not like sitting there with an acoustic guitar and a neck thing. Like, just yeah. That was the.
So, Will and Dev meet what's the word?
Serendipity doodah.
Yeah, something like that.
Serendipitous.
It seems like oddly enough, you guys were church kids, and then 15 years later, you just see each other across the street. This sounds like a God moment, like seriously.
But
we're like cursing and drinking in this podcast.
Fuck yeah.
got out alive. We also, so Ben too, I brought this up because after that night, I don't know why, but like we came outside and I was like, yo, we need to like book something with this. Like we were talking about doing a blues brunch at 8 This is what we wanted to do. I was like, let's see if Joel will book us for like a Sunday morning or something. And I got to tell this part of the story, Dev, because that night, no, it's true. No, instead we get booked for a Saturday night and are like, oh shit, we have to actually deliver.
Whoops.
And so Devin and I get together with Ben Fisher, who I grew up at church with in Dallas, with playing like all the time through high school. Like we cut our teeth together with him, my younger brother, Johnny Martin, Megan Miller, like all these incredible players in high school. And so we called Ben in. I called Kyle. And we showed up.
You and I met through the 8 Open.
We met, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'll never forget, we showed up for rehearsal the night before our Saturday gig at 8 First time any of us had ever played.
Oh my God.
And Guy was like, I would never come out to a rehearsal for free except that Willie asked. And I was like, hell yeah. And then I'm telling you, one song in, we all looked at each other and we were like, oh fuck.
But here's the thing about that. So it was just the four of us, and we're sweating it out in this small rehearsal space.
The shirts came off.
Shirts are coming off that night, and that's kind of was like, let's just take our shirts off, which, the Vandaliers, they did it first. I'm going to make mention of that. But what's funny is that we only practiced, it was a 3-hour gig at 8 10:30 to 1:30, 10 to 1, whatever it was there. And we only practiced
An hour?
Yeah.
an hour, not even that,
tops, like,
not even
maybe.
an hour's worth of music. We played maybe 6 songs tops within that hour.
And realized we could call the rest.
And,
We were like,
but
cool.
when we did, I think for 3 hours we played a total of 12 tunes,
Yeah, and just
stretched over 3 hours.
Also,
So here's the deal. If you come from the jazz world, that's not a huge deal. But for what you guys do, that is insane.
Well, and a lot of us do have some jazz roots. Like, there's a lot of that in there for sure. I'll say, though, another important thing that came out of that night, the rehearsal night, the first night that Dev and I met, re-met, I should say, and we're talking about, like, this blues brunch, I just sat there and I said, Dev, Wulf, and the Howlers. And you and Brendan were like, that's it, let's go.
That's the one.
We show up rehearsal, and Dev's like, guys, I researched the Howlers. It's already in use. We can't use it.
Omar.
And I was like, all right, what about Dev Wulf and the Howl? And Uncle Henry goes, Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl. And we all went, done. And I said, if we call ourselves that, we have one rule. And Dev was like, what's that? And I said, at midnight, we howl. And we have ever since.
And yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Only at midnight, not every
Never again. Just
Occasionally.
Yeah.
occasionally.
So, occasionally we howl at noon.
You miss it and it's lunchtime. And
At the music video, there was a lot of howling because they're like, yeah, that wasn't a good enough howl. We need to do another take of the howl. Take 15 of the howl. We really could get
15?
everybody up.
I tell you what,
That didn't really happen. I'm
I
making
gotta
that up.
give it to the people that were there that night because we only wanted them. So essentially, during the song, when we all howl, that's when we want everyone to do it. And people, for the most part, did, but it was the ending. Every time we would finish the song, we were just getting like that's when everyone just started howling, which was kind of wild.
Killer.
To look back, you're like, oh, we didn't ask for that. Real specific, and they're like, all right, I accept that. We're appreciative of that. That was really cool.
That's cool. Love a good howl.
Awesome.
A small woo, if you will.
Love a good howl.
So, all right. So the 3 original members here, I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you introduce yourself as Kyle. I can't call you Unc. I'm sorry. You're forever in my brain as Kyle. So it's like, Kyle, Willie, and Dev.
And Ben. There were 4 originals.
4 originals. Okay, just making sure that. So we have 2 other members here. How did y'all become part of this?
Oh.
Who jumped me first?
I
Matt
met
was first.
Matt through Justin Cashin, another local artist. I was doing some fill-in gigs with him, and Matt was playing keys for him. And so we had a gig at Double Wide, I think
That's
it
right,
was,
in
where Ben wasn't available.
He got
Or
sick.
he
No, he got
yeah.
sick.
Real
And
sick.
we called on Matt like, what? I hit you up fucking like
Day
4
of.
hours before the set. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bro, we're in a
Did not give him time to prepare. Gave him half a set list. It was just like, hey man, if you can be there and like do this thing. And after that show, we all were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like Matt's got some fucking,
Chops.
yeah, chops, vibes, whatever you want to call it. So then as like the sound of the band was kind of progressing, we were just like, we should put an actual organ, like dedicated organ into this.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I got to roll out of bed. I think it was probably about 5 or 6. I got the phone call, and I was already sleeping. And if you look at pictures, I think they're still posted on Instagram. But if you look at pictures of that evening, I was wearing the same shirt that I was sleeping in. They threw in my jeans, and I kind of listened to the set list 2 or 3 times. I'm like, all right, okay. Oh, let's see what happens. And then I sat down and I kind of played through, and everybody's like, okay. And then after, as the night progressed and as libations, increased, then the conversation in itself, became more of a, these guys are a lot of fun. They have a lot of energy, and then I decided, hey, let's see what happens next time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I think for anybody who's not a working musician, that phone call is. People think that phone call 4 hours before a gig is super rare. It's not. it's really not.
Yeah.
Like
That's
you
very
really, if you're a working musician and you say no, it's because you're already playing a gig. I just want to
Yeah, man.
point that out for the audience because I can't tell you how many, whether it's playing at church or whether it's like, hey, like I had a random one time I literally got called 2 hours before a jazz jam session, and they were like, hey, can you play bass on this? I was like, who am I covering for? And at the time, I'm not going to say who it was because they're a really nice person, but apparently they got really upset that night with members of the band. And I had to totally fill in for a jazz jam session when I was not the best jazz bass player. So I played a lot of walking bass, and I did not take any solo, but nobody cares about bass solos anyway. So
Whoa. We haven't even gotten...
That's
I
accurate.
agree wholeheartedly.
We haven't...
Being nice to Josh.
We haven't gotten to why Josh is in the band, and it's because we all hate bass solos.
So, and I use that story.
All of y'all, bro.
I use that story to segue into, because Josh, you're the newest member of the band, right?
Definitely. Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So, how did that come to be?
Oh, let's roast him good.
All right, everybody. I want to hear this. I want to hear this purely from Josh for a moment because I don't think I've ever heard Josh explain it. It's gonna be
How'd you
good.
get here, Josh?
Why are you here?
Gosh. Oh no, can I?
I didn't know I was opening a can of worms here. I was like,
Yeah,
where?
no,
How
trust
deep
me.
does this rabbit hole go?
I'm in danger right now, but it's okay.
Oh, no.
We're working through it,
The
bro.
rabbit's still digging.
We have a guard dog outside. It's a 19-year-old Chihuahua. His name is Archie, but he is vicious.
I want to call out that he called me a minor, and I'm 25 years old. This was like 30 minutes ago. It's like, excuse me. That was kind of weird.
It's all right.
Let's calm down.
Fine.
Let's see. How did I? Okay, so
Good start. Strong start.
Yes, Josh.
I met Kyle and Chili Willy through a residency at Adair's on Tuesdays that started in November.
Yep.
That was within a month of moving here. I really didn't know what my job was going to be. At the time, a lot of the jobs I applied for kind of got denied, so I was really desperate. I went to Facebook. I went to like 5 or 6 different groups
Wow,
for
thanks,
musicians, and then one of them was like, hey, there's a thing every Tuesday night. And I was like, whatever, it's country. I didn't like country at the moment. Whatever. I just need a job. I need something with money.
Okay, I have to stop you there, bro. We live in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
here has played a church gig, a country gig,
Oh, yeah.
a coffee shop gig. If you haven't done that, I am very suspicious of anything you've ever done working in this area.
I got lucky. I made it out of Abilene, Texas, good old West Texas, without ever playing a country gig. So I was kind of fortunate until I got here. Then I was like, all right, let's see what we have to do.
That explains so much.
So I still have the West Texas country in my blood, but I didn't try it out till I got here.
Super flat, big open skies, not a lot to do.
Oh, come on, there it is. That's all it is. Yeah. Beer and parking lots. Am I right? That's
Beer,
all.
parking lot, and church and football. I don't know what else to tell you.
You covered pretty much all of it. But
Have y'all ever seen Friday Night Lights? It's a lot more boring than that.
way worse. Yeah, there's not much to see. Yeah,
That's true.
no, there's not much to see out there. It's pretty fun. But coming out here a little bit more, and I was like, why not? Let's try it. Need money. So I come to the gig, and I'm trying to be as prepared as I can. I'm like, let's wing it. Let's do it. Let's get it, guys. And then these two start playing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a band. Like, the whole night, I'm
Hey,
like...
you want to know a really funny story about that first show we played together with Mark?
What's up?
I didn't listen to any of those songs
Yeah, the
before we did
figures.
that show.
Are you serious?
I raw dogged the fuck out of that. I was not about to listen to all those shitty songs.
Dude, so I listened to the songs like I'm a professional, but I listened.
Hey,
My mistake.
I listened to the songs. I listened to them twice.
Somebody's gotta be
And I'll
right.
never forget. At one point, I ended one of the songs, and Mark was like, "He did that just like the recording," and I was like, I have no idea what happened on the recording.
Oh,
Not a clue.
Oh, yeah.
It's vibes.
But it worked. Yeah, that was the most,
So
like...
Willie found out that night that he has telepathy or some type of supernatural ability to play songs he's never heard before.
Oh no, that I didn't find out that night. No, that's old news.
I'm telling you that you did.
It's been around for you.
It's been around for a while, yeah.
Well, okay, so...
Wait, so then Josh.
Yeah, all right.
We gotta get back to Josh. Sorry.
Josh.
Anyways, me.
Yes.
So,
There it is.
here we are. Hey, my bad. Sorry.
No, that's...
Oh,
that,
no.
that
Well
checks.
timed, well placed.
Yeah.
All right, so after that, we play, a few months in, and we're kind of, we're locking in to the country stuff, the good old podunk. Let's just walk it on bass. Let's keep it normal, And then
Route 5, Route
oh
5,
yeah, exactly.
Route 5.
It's real simple for me. I'm getting paid
Beats
to do
1 and
this.
3, half notes.
Yeah, I'm getting paid to do that and drink. I'm like, I'm loving this. And then all of a sudden, Mark Owens, amazing country artist, was like, hey, I can't make it. We're gonna have a fill-in. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's do it. And then he's like, it's Dev Wulf. And I listened to the set list, and I'm like, this is not country. This is like soul and gospel. And I'm like, all right, we got to practice. So, I think it was in January.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do it. And I practiced so much for the set that Dev was going to do.
He's more of a professional than me.
No. I come in, and it turns out Kyle's not going to be there. It's just an acoustic set. So we strip it down. That's when I met Matt and these guys. And that set,
That was a whole magical evening.
it went really well. And I'm sweating bullets here because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no drummer. It's
Yeah,
just
understandably.
me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm just
You got to
trying-
carry the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to hold it down. And after the night ends, I'm like, oh, my God, I survived. That was it. Praise the Lord. And then a couple weeks later, same thing happens. And then finally we have full band. Kyle's back in. And that night, I remember specifically, was incredible. I was like, I want to do this at Adair's the rest of my life.
We almost did.
This is the
That's
problem.
awesome.
Yeah, we were
So,
close, yeah.
so in February, we ended up taking over the residency because Mark had some personal
Yeah.
stuff come up and had to leave the state. And so Dev took over the residency for the next 2 months, and the very first, okay, now it's
Yeah.
Dev's residency. And again, this is Dev's residency. This was not about the Midnight Howl at this point. The very first night, everybody just ended up being available. We all showed up,
Yeah.
and it turned into a pop-up Midnight Howl show, and it went nuts. We went absolutely nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It was fire.
It was fantastic. Somebody paid me $100 to order them an Uber.
Yeah. Somebody gave me their bucket hat. I don't remember.
Was that the end of the story there? Because I feel like that's amazing. Just like, hey man, can you call me an Uber? Here's $100. Did he even realize he was giving you
That
$100?
man was not
Oh.
in real life.
that same dude asked me to order him an Uber, and I thought for sure he wasn't gonna give me $100, so I turned him down.
Holy cow.
And now I regret it.
I helped him out. He wasn't speaking a lick of sense, but the thing was,
Oh, dude was out of it.
Yeah, I want to point out that guy.
I like how he wasn't like cognizant or like there, but still responsible.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I have no thoughts whatsoever. I probably should go home. That was the only sane thought he had.
And not drive myself.
Yeah. Everything else was insane. I'm gonna pay somebody $100 to call me a ride.
Hey, honestly, like, I feel that dude's pain. I've been in the point where I can't use my phone anymore. Like, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
That's real.
After that night, we kept playing this residency, and it was just like always good. But it was still a while before I think we were like, Josh, do you want it?
Oh yeah,
Are
it
you
was
here?
a slow slope.
Like,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, we really took our time, and it wasn't so much because it's like, oh, can Josh carry? We knew we already knew the answer. That was kind of a no question, but we really wanted to take our time because we want everything that we do in this project that we're in, this group that we're in. We want everything to be methodical, and we're the type of people. Well, a handful of. Well, okay, so Chile and I are very spontaneous and impulsive in decisions, and we're our own hype men sometimes. And so the rule is that we try to at least make sure that we're at least methodical in our decisions because we're getting such a unique opportunity in different areas and and what we're doing, and so it's like this might be the one chance and it might be the last, so take advantage and make sure that we do it right every time, and it's just we roll through it like we go on to the next.
Also, I think it's like one of the things that I love about like the approach that we've taken, and I know Josh, like I don't want to speak for you, you can speak to this, but I know this was a big deal for you. We do this with Uncle Henry all the time. Like Uncle Henry fucking tours, goes, and we're like, cool, go, like go, do your thing, play your music, play with whoever you want to, get the opportunity
Pay your
to play
bills.
with.
Exactly.
And
Send
Josh,
me a postcard.
I know Josh for a minute was like, I'm not sure if you guys are gonna like, because you're new to Dallas. You're like, I wanna experience the scene, not get tied down before I've, played with whoever I can.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's an important element of the approach.
It does lead to the greater part of that. We're doing a residency over Twilight every full moon, by the way.
Shameless plug.
And we're doing it, and we all kind of show up, and everybody's kind of shaking the dust off from the day. And I hear from Dev, and I hear from Willie, I hear from everybody that say, hey, I'm tired. I worked the day all the way through, but I'm happy to be here and putting your best foot forward on the stage and making that performance just as memorable is what has brought us from playing at 8 Airs, playing at Twilight, and moving us forward through it. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Because when you show up with a bad attitude, man, I don't want to work with you.
And that's something I can testify as kind of a new member is that was one huge thing that sold me to the band early on. It was like, no matter how busy these guys are, no matter what they're doing, it's always like, we're coming in and we're excited to play. Like this group, everybody's ready to pump out the best they can, and consistently, it is amazing.
Thanks, Bubba.
All right, okay, don't get.
All right, Josh.
Okay.
You're hyped.
I'll Venmo you.
You're hyped.
No, I mean, and it's crazy because I think when I went to the music video, I think that was like the 5th time I've seen you guys, and it's like definitely that was the first time I saw you guys with Josh, and you guys just gel. That's something I've just noticed that's consistent. And the more times I see you guys, the better you get. And so I just think that's just awesome. You guys are just progressing that way. Yeah. Because I feel like we've all been, I mean, Kyle can attest to this being in so many different projects. It's like, and you guys kind of attested to it as well. It's like, sometimes you really are there and it sucks to just be there to collect a paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
It really does, because it's music. We should be having fun. We should be doing this because we love it. But at the same time, it's like, man, I mean, all right, cool.
Sometimes it's still just a job.
Yeah.
it can be.
And so I think that's just something, and I'm glad you guys recognize it with each other as well, because, you know, how many times can you get that chance where you're actually, you know, in a band with your friends and you're actually making music that you love. Like, that's kind of like the movie moment we all have when we're trying out music. We all think like, hey, let's all join a band together with our friends.
Oh.
And how many of us are that lucky to actually get that? Because I can tell you that, you know, it hasn't really. I've been in bands with my friends, and you know, life gets in the way. And it's not like we're not friends anymore. It's like, you know, kids get born. You realize, hey, maybe I just want to do this as a hobby, you know, or hey, I got this great opportunity elsewhere, and you know, you just wish them the best of luck. It's not always negative. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes they are negative, but you know, it's those things where it's like I'm just really happy to see people who are genuinely happy to be together and make music together. So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, appreciate it. Well, and that's the thing for us. It's every show. I mean, we have a format, but every show is always it just always plays out differently, and always differently for the wildest reasons.
True.
Like one night the first night that we played at Twilight. Was it the first night or second time? It didn't matter. Early on,
a night at the Twilight
it was
Lounge.
a night at the Twilight Lounge.
It was a night
It was late night.
Late night.
by Woody Allen.
Chili.
I don't know. So it sounded like
Can we?
I
see
thought
that?
you were about to go into like a
That's what it
children's
sounded
book
like.
opening. I didn't think you were going Woody Allen movie.
I don't know.
So anyway,
We're in Texas, sir. If you're gonna pick an artsy film director, pick Wes Anderson. He's from Houston, for crying out loud.
So-
Come on.
Starring the Wilson brothers. Starring the
So-
Wilson brothers.
Anyway, we it was our first or second time playing there. We ended up playing Doghouse, and out of nowhere, Chili, I think your shirt was already off by this
Oh yeah,
point.
it was already.
He hops up on the bar and just starts Coyote Ugly, dancing, playing guitar, swinging that thing around. And that was the night
The
you and I
guitar.
almost had a concussion because he, right at the end of the song, jumps off the bar, lands maybe 3 or 4 inches from my face.
Planned.
Yeah,
Well executed.
well executed.
The video I saw.
Willie
was
planned it.
fear
Dev wasn't in on the plan.
Eyeballs, bro.
Okay, well,
He's freaking out.
I planned.
I knew I would be the
He
first
just
one to
didn't
be
tell Dev. That was the problem.
I would have not survived the clip. But anyway, well, and then the next one, my sister actually gets engaged at our show.
Oh, beautiful.
Which was fantastic. And then
To one of our songs.
to one of our songs.
Oh.
And then a couple
The last
gigs
one.
ago. It wasn't the last one. It was the one before. I hop up on
Oh,
stage,
yeah,
start
that was
dancing
2
my
gigs ago.
ass off on the bar. Granted, by this point, this is not my second time. We've been on the bar together. But this time it was just me. I'm dancing, doing the thing. An ambulance with their lights full blazing just passes by, and those strobes hit me in the eyes. I lose my footing and go right
the
off the
bar.
ledge, right into the bar station. That's on video. That was
And then the
scared
next
the
Twilight.
shit out of me
The next Twilight residency we did, we're handing out flowers to everybody.
because it was
By
a
the-
flower moon.
By the end of the first song, the whole audience and the bartenders have flowers in their hair, their hats, their shirts. Like, it's a whole experience, man. But I think it definitely, to your point, John, comes back to like the fact that we're just hanging out, man. We're just having a good time. Like,
And we want people with us to be hanging out
Yeah.
and
Oh.
dancing
I'm
their
just-
asses off. And
Sorry, I'm just amazed because like you have a 50-50 shot of like dancing on the bar, that happening, and then the bar saying, "Hey, never come back ever again."
Never again.
Oh, we've been back like 5 times.
yeah, they're like,
It worked.
they're
It
like,
worked.
that was amazing. Do it again. In fact, one of them, it was the second time when Willie was about to hop on the bar.
yeah.
This is when we hopped up on the bar together for the first time. And Willie makes eye contact with Elliot, who manages the Twilight Lounge, and he looks at him like, "Do I get the okay?" And Elliot just stands back and goes.
not just that. He started moving
He started
candles and
moving
menus.
shit out of the
He
way.
made it an available space.
How we make it up there
3 of the hottest chicks in Dallas showed up, and he's like, "Get out."
That's it, bro.
Yeah, that was wild.
Also, I wanna tell a story if I can about Dev. It was pretty funny. This is months ago. I don't remember what show it was after, but just back to the point of like us hanging out or whatever. Nicole,
Our manager, and love of movie.
and love of his life,
Anyway,
outs Dev
Sweetheart.
in the group text that we have. She's like, Dev sent me this the other day. And
Oh, God
it's
damn it.
Dev, it's Dev texting Nicole and saying, I think the Howl are becoming my best friends. And then the rest of us proceed to bust his balls over it. And then by the time we're done, all of us have gone, yeah, me too, though.
That is the most best friend thing to do, though. Oh, you have feelings? Let's squash them.
No, destroy him, bro.
Also, though,
really loving community. We
also
find
same, yeah, totally same.
Also same.
With that said.
Love you guys.
All right.
me.
So one thing I want to kind of steer into is you guys have a single coming out. Is there?
Yes.
Obviously, I've heard you guys do original stuff. You guys do great covers, by the way.
Thank you.
Sorry I couldn't make it to the Twilight that night. I couldn't do it. I requested that you guys do Sly and the Family Stone that night, and I felt like I just physically couldn't be there. I was in Fort Worth that night.
Good, man.
But yeah, so what original songs are you guys wanting to do next? Are you guys wanting to do an EP? Are you guys wanting to do a full album? I know there's been, when I've talked to all of you guys, there's just been like, what's the next step?
I think album is kind of the approach right now. We really want to focus on writing and like getting out songs that are like cohesive as a collection, as opposed to just like, I feel like now in, I don't know, the current music industry, there's a lot of people that are just like, they can only put out one big banger at a time, right? And one of the things that we've kind of talked about as a group is like making sure that we put out a full-length album that is just nothing but, hit after hit after hit. Like
No B-sides.
yeah, no filler songs, no like, if we write it and we aren't all in agreement that it is 110% a song we would want to put out, then it's not going to be a song,
Yeah. What's the and I know we're a little short on time, so I do want to ask 2 kind of bullet point questions. One of them is because I've done this before when songwriting. What do you guys do? Do you guys test in front of an audience at an open mic or at a residency just to see how it goes? Do you announce that it's a new song that you guys write, or is that what's the process there? Or is it more just like, hey, we're in a room, we feel really good about this tune, let's premiere it?
Generally, it's the latter. Generally, it's like, man, we workshop the song enough. I mean, we have a small group of friends that we kind of ping ideas off of, and if we got a song going, we'll see what the feedback is, and is a great indicator. And then once we think that it's cooked enough, some things are always just a work in progress, but sometimes we're just like, let's throw it in the set and let's just see what happens, see what the response is. And sometimes we'll be like, this is a new tune, and if it was garbage, we'll be like, that was a cover. It just kind of depends, but generally, the answer to your question is generally the latter. We just kind of like, all right, hey, this is new. Hey, go try this.
I'd also add to that, we've shouted out Nicole. Nicole is one of our co-managers. Alyssa Evans is our other co-manager. Kyle's best friend and roommate. And
Yeah, I've met Alyssa. She's very sweet.
well,
She's a
and
rock star.
I really there's a lot to be said for space. And Alyssa has provided us with a space, we call it the Den, where we can write, and not only write and practice, but we'll have friends over, we'll have people come over, and it's like mini concerts, and they sit there and we try them out. And that space that's both safe, creative, so many things that she's provided for us has helped us to get to the point, like Dev was saying, and to your point, John, we end a song, we're like, oh no, it's good. Like, we're good. We're ready.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Let's throw that out.
That's super cool. One last thing, and this is the last thing I'm going to mention before we sign off here. You guys have had a GoFundMe, correct, for the new album? What is the plug there? I mean, obviously you can go GoFundMe Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl for the new album. Is there a specific title for it that people can find?
It's my Zelle. Nah. Hey, you can send me some cash if you want to. Outside of that, I think Dev or Willie could field that question a little.
Dev, where can we find your GoFundMe?
Just go to our we have a domain, DWTMH, DevWolfTheMidnightHowl.com, DWTMH.com. There's a link on there that kind of goes in there, and it's kind of a sure way of people are always finding ways of like how can we give and how can we donate or whatever, and how can we help support you and your music, and that's generally the kind of the been the easy go-to. And actually, to be honest, it's helped us fund this last single that we're dropping.
Yeah.
Or this
Helped us
upcoming
substantially.
single. So we all paid like barely anything out of our pockets. It was kind of amazing. And so we're really excited to share that because it was with the support of everyone who's kind of walked with us along the way.
Yeah, so I just want to let the audience know that crowdfunding does actually go to the artist. Yes, those sites do take a percentage, but this really does help promote art and promote creativity and even innovations and projects. So please go to their GoFundMe. Go check them out. When the single comes out, May 19th, please listen to it. It was super fun. Dev Wulf and the Midnight Howl, thank you guys very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank y'all.